Tonight, in a notice to Congress obtained by NBC News, the Department of Homeland Security says 2 officers fired their weapons 5 seconds after an agent had yelled that Alex Preddy had a gun. It all comes as President Trump tries to turn down the temperature in Minneapolis, promising what he's calling a big investigation into Preddy's shooting death.
I'm going to be watching over it. I want a very honorable and honest investigation. I have to see it myself.
And detailing why he made that dramatic shakeup following pressure over Preddy's death.
I do that all the time. I shake up teams.
Border Czar Tom Homan, who served 5 presidents, including Democrats, taking over immigration enforcement in Minnesota, where he's tasked with working with Democratic Governor Tim Walz and Mayor Jacob Fry, who we met with today.
We have Tom Homan there now. We put him in there. He's great. And they met with the governor, the mayor, everybody else, and we're going to de-escalate a little bit.
While Border Patrol Commander...
It sounds like Trump is getting pressure from the white folk about that situation that happened out there. Now, I said that situation wasn't right. Straight up. That situation wasn't right out there because they disarmed the man and 2 different people fired when the man didn't even have no strap. Trump getting pressed about that. And I guess now he want to put some pressure down. But it'd be crazy, how they pick and choose with that. That situation was wrong out there, though.
Greg Bovino, known for his aggressive immigration enforcement tactics, has been sent back to his previous job in California, according to 2 administration officials.
Bovino is very good, but he's a pretty out there kind of a guy. And in some cases, that's good. Maybe it wasn't good here.
A senior administration official tells NBC News the president had grown increasingly disturbed by images of the violence taking place on the ground in Minneapolis, adding he doesn't like chaos unfolding on his watch. 3 administration officials also confirmed the president met with Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem and her top aide Corey Lewandowski last night at the White House.
Kristi Noem going to step down?
No, I think she's doing a very good job. The border is totally secure.
But today, the president contradicted initial statements by his deputy chief of staff, Stephen Miller, who called Preddy an assassin.
Do you think he was acting as an assassin in Minneapolis?
Who is that?
Mr. Preddy, your deputy chief of staff.
The president also pressed on whether he agreed with Noem's initial statements, criticized by several Republican lawmakers that Preddy was a domestic terrorist.
I haven't heard that, but certainly he shouldn't have been carrying a gun. Very, very unfortunate incident. I don't like that he had a gun. I don't like that he had 2 fully loaded magazines. That's a lot of bad stuff.
DHS says Preddy came to protest federal agents armed with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun and 2 extra clips of ammunition. Videos show he never brandished it at officers. Gun rights groups, including the NRA, have strongly pushed back on the idea that legal gun owners cannot carry a firearm at a protest.
And Gabe, let's go back to those comments from Stephen Miller about Preddy being an assassin. Tonight, Miller is speaking out again.
Yes, Tom. Miller says the initial statements from DHS were based on reports from Customs and Border Protection agents on the ground. He says extra personnel sent to Minneapolis should have been used to create a physical barrier between agents and protesters, and it's not clear why that protocol was not followed. We've reached out to DHS for its response.
We thank you for watching.
Hey, listen. They went too far, man. They went too far with that one. Yeah. And somebody might get held accountable on that one. Even though he had a strap out there, he ain't pulled a strap out. If he was licensed to carry and he ain't pulled a strap out, they went too far. Yeah. So, I know some people look at it a little different, but I just think, man, them people getting out of control out there. Yeah. They doing too much. Yeah, they doing too much. And they tried to cover it up, though. That's was foul. They tried to cover it up. 2 people fired. And I think, they already had it in their mind because they do got a lot of pressure on them out there that if they get in a situation, they gonna bust. And that's what they did when it wasn't even called for. It wasn't even called to bust the strap. It wasn't called. You know? Situation went too far though. But I stay in the house. So, you know, I'm not going to have those type of encounters. They out there in the field for whatever reason that they protesting for. And I'm not risking my life for nobody. You know, some people do get themselves involved in stuff that's not beneficial to them. You know, dude was an American citizen. Whatever he was doing out there for the protest didn't benefit him at all. He lost his life. So you do got to choose wisely. You know, we can wake up and have, you know, certain feelings about certain things, and then we tend to, all right, I'm just going to go do this because I feel this way. But does it really benefit you? Some things, it don't call for your attention. You might want to be a part of it because you feel some type of way about it, but that don't mean that you should involve yourself. Because if he would have just stayed home that day or went to work and did whatever he was supposed to do, he would have never been in the middle of that. But he had some type of passion to be involved with whatever was going on out there with the protesters, that it cost him his life, and he didn't have to be there. He didn't make a difference. This was some people got to understand as well. You going out there protesting, it's not going to make a difference. It's just going to put you in a situation if it gets sticky. If something is affecting you personally and you feel like you got to stand up for something, then I understand. But to insert yourself into something, things can go crazy. Now, I don't agree how they handled the situation at all. I don't think they should have handled the situation that way. It was 6, 7, 8 officers on one person. I don't think, you know, the guy wasn't that big. It wasn't like he was a bodybuilder and he was that strong. So I don't think it was called for that excessive force. You know, but we can't just say because the man went outside and he protested that he deserved to get excessive force. People got a right to protest. That's his decision. You know, if he want to go out there and protest, that's his decision. You know, but that don't call for how far they take this shit. You know, I feel like they be taking it too far. You know, it's egos involved. You gave these people power to run around and enforce something, and they enforcing something on other people. It do get messy. And that's what they out there doing, enforcing stuff on, you know, other people. So when you give someone power to, you know, have over other people, they usually go too far, regardless of what it is. You give a manager at the job authority. They could wake up on the wrong side of the bed and come in there and get the boss and people around, and somebody gonna say, yo, you usually not like this. This how they feel that day. You giving human beings the power over other humans. And we got to look at it like this, right? Now, you might not feel the situation of the guy going out there protesting, but look at it as you. If you was at work and your boss came in, right? And they was on the other side of the bed, pissed about something. They ain't get no coochie or something. And they came in there, left on you. You like, hold up, man. You ain't had to go that far on me. But they not feeling, like dealing with people, but they got to because it's their job. So I just think, people can look at it like, this is what they getting or whatever, but I can't look at it like that. That's just me. I can't look at it like that. I ain't, I just ain't that type of joker. You know what I mean? I don't like people altogether. I'm just being real. I don't like people altogether. I'm cool with people that, got level heads and, they can dialogue, but I'm not a people person. So it's like you could be black, white, blue, yellow. I ain't no people. I'm not a people person. I'm not that. That's just not me. So I don't get to looking at it like, yo, my people, because I'm just being real, right? Black people done some of the most worst things to me. White people done some of the most worst things to me. So I ain't riding, just because somebody black or that's just my style. Some people look at it different, but that's just me. I'm not just because you black and now I don't care about none of that. Your personality is what I'm looking at, and it's just some type of, certain type of people that I just don't like the personality. So I don't care what you are. I'm just not going to like it. So yeah, I mean, that's just how I look at it, man. Some people look at it, different, and everybody got their own opinion because, that's your world, it's your life. Yeah. But that my people shit, I ain't with that shit. Straight up. Niggas will backstab you quick. Yeah, straight up. Yeah. I don't trust my people. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie. I don't trust my people. Yeah. Nigga be saying, yo, I don't trust them. As soon as I let a nigga around me, they trying to steal from me. They trying to backstab me. You bring a nigga around you and you got a girl. First thing you know, he trying to hump on your broad. Black nigga now. Straight up. You bring a nigga around you. First thing you know, soon as you in the bathroom or you going somewhere else, they cracking on your broad. Yeah, so I'm just saying, this is my personal experiences, and I'm just keeping it a buck. Superfly, I gotta go up my experiences. So when I be talking from my own experiences. Everybody's experiences is different, and I'm just talking from my experience. Straight up. Just keeping it a buck. Yeah.